anti-corruption causes and portraying himself as a defender of the people.
Let me be very, very categorical.
Jimmy Wanjigi is the son of the late Maina Wanjigi, a notable figure who served as an MP and minister in Moi's government. Maina Wanjigi, also involved in business ventures, was frequently associated with allegations of corruption and unethical practices. Jimmy, his son, has inherited his father's controversial legacy and has been consistently involved in unscrupulous corruption deals. Jimmy Wanjigi has recently positioned himself as a vocal critic of the government, championing anti-corruption causes and portraying himself as a defender of the people.
Let me be very, very categorical. It is an open secret that we in this nation are facing huge economic challenges. I think for the very first time, every Kenyan that I know of and that is speaking is feeling some sort of pain about the economy. There is a stagnation. Now, when we recognize that, we must ask ourselves what are the solutions and what created the problem.
But behind this facade lies a man whose activism is driven not by the desire to better the country, but by his own personal gain and survival. His history tells a story of corruption, manipulation, and deep-rooted self-interest. Over the years, Wanjigi has been embroiled in multiple scandals. His role in the infamous Anglo leasing scandal stands out. During President Mwai Kibaki's era, Wanjigi used his influence to broker fraudulent government contracts, where ghost companies were awarded billions of shillings for non-existent projects. This scandal led to his travel ban from the United States in 2006, a clear international condemnation of his corrupt practices. Wanjigi's Kwacha group of companies became a tool for exploiting the state, securing government contracts through manipulation and backdoor deals. His involvement in the Goldenberg and Eurobond scandals only further highlights his role in what has been referred to as the state capture of Kenya, where powerful individuals like him control state resources for personal gain. Land fraud, it's another chapter in Wanjigi's tainted legacy. In 2022, he and his associates were arrested for forging documents to sell a piece of land in Nairobi's Westlands.
Businessman Jimmy Wanjigi will spend the night at the Kamkunji police station after being arrested at his Kwacha house office in Westlands area of Nairobi on Tuesday. Now, Wanjigi was arrested after close to 17 hours of a standoff where he had barricaded himself inside his office. Police lobbed tear gas at his supporters who milled around his office demanding his release. And as Hassan Mugambi reports, police are after the businessman for allegedly obtaining money by false pretense in a 54 million Kenya shillings land fraud case.
Despite numerous allegations over the years, including a 56 million shilling fraud case, Wanjigi has repeatedly avoided convictions, using deep-rooted judicial corruption to escape punishment. Wanjigi has also been arrested several times, including as recently as August 2024, when he was found in possession of unlicensed firearms, some of which are banned from civilian ownership. This is not the first time he has faced such charges. It paints a clear picture of a man always ready for war, a criminal ringleader who operates far from the boundaries of the law. These repeated offences only confirm that Jimmy Wanjigi is not the clean, righteous man he pretends to be. Wanjigi is a billionaire broker, a master manipulator pushing large government infrastructure tenders, ensuring contracts are inflated to secure his notorious 15% cut. For example, Wanjigi acted as a broker for the Chinese company Avic International Holding Corporation, which was awarded the contract to construct the JKIA Greenfield Terminal in 2013 at an inflated cost of 50 billion Kenyan shillings. He was set to receive a 5 billion Kenyan shilling brokerage fee. The deal was later cancelled in April 2020 due to its high cost and lack of value for money, along with allegations of financial mismanagement. This explains Wanjigi's bitterness towards the recent Kenya Adani deal. which excludes him and denies him the opportunity to profit. Another instance of his extreme greed for public funds was in the SGR contracting, where he acted as a broker for Chinese companies involved in the railway's construction. However, he reportedly lost his stake when Kenyatta insisted he let go of his interests. This led to a fallout between them, with Wanjigi later attempting to legally challenge the SGR project. He still holds a grudge against the former government for exposing his selfish interests, and he has a history of playing dirty in his dealings. He displays opulence through his foreign chef, enjoys elite Mossad security, and has 7 private jets ready for escape if chaos erupts. Meanwhile, on the streets, he pays your Gen Z children peanuts to protest on his behalf, using them as pawns to pressure the government into awarding him more tenders. Jimmy Wanjigi is not just corrupt, he is unethical, criminal, and quite frankly, evil. A man whose greed knows no bounds. How can someone so deeply involved in decades of corruption, manipulation, and criminality claim to fight against the very system he has exploited for his gain?
Na mimi sikuongea kwa sababu sikuwa na evidence. Mimi naongeanga kitu nikipata evidence kamili. Ukiona Nurokanga anaongea ako na evidence. Jana ndugu yetu alileta mada akasema kijana mwenzao bloga alishikwa ama alitumiwa na watu kutoka kwa gavana wa Mombasa Abdul Swamar. Na mimi sikuongea kwa sababu sikuwa na evidence. Jana nilienda kwa nyumba nikanunua data, nikaingia YouTube. Video ya kwanza nilikutana ya huyo kijana, hata Mungu alikuwa amepanga ikuwe ya kwanza. Nikaangalia huyo kijana venye alianza kuongea mpaka venye alimaliza. Kusema ukweli, mashirika zile zinatetea haki za binadamu, lazima gavana wa Mombasa aajibike, akuje Senate aulizwe maswali. Kwa sababu gani? Yule kijana alisema alishikwa asubuhi, akatembezwa vijana 20 wakamzingira usiku, walipiga yule kijana maji kama purukenge, walimkula nyuma. Kijana akasema ninaumia ndugu yangu mniache, hawasikii. Walipomaliza kumkula nyuma wakamuingiza kwa buti. Gavana akapiga simu akauliza mumemaliza ile kazi? Wakasema tumemaliza. Akatuma 10,000 waende wakule sapa. Yani wewe mwanaume unalipwa na gavana kwenda kudunga mwanaume mwenzako maji nyuma. Ile masharti Ruto alipitisha hiyo. Gavana wa Mombasa hii kufikie. Gavana wa Mombasa jiasilishe kwa DCI, ueleze wa Kenya kwa nini huyu bloga amepigwa maji nyuma mpaka akajikojolea. Umeharibu sehemu nyeti ya huyu kijana ya nyuma, hawezi kunia. Yule kijana amelia bwana kwa social media, na hiyo ni kitu ya uchungu kwa sababu najua kesho naweza fanyiwa. Ni kijana mwenzetu na ni bloga venye mimi naongeanga mambo ya siasa. Alikuwa anakosoa government ya Mombasa. Saa hii huyo kijana anakojoa kama anatembea. Muharu ukikuja anapitisha, ako na pambas, breki zimeenda, sehemu za ume zimeenda, hawezi zalisha tena. Sio jambo la kawaida wanaume wanne wa kupiga shoti 3. Kijana amesema alipigwa vijana 4, kila mtu shoti 3 na wanamaliza, wana release. Na unajua venye shoti ya pili na kuanga gumu kutoka. Shoti ya pili na kuanga mauano, na ya tatu je, kama hii ya pili ndio stress ya tatu. Huyo kijana alisikia uchungu aina gani? Kwa hivyo mimi nasema nikimalizia, kama gavana huko kwa hiyo maneno, na huyo kijana alisema alisikia sauti yako, tokea uaddress Kenya. Kama wewe uko na pati 2 useme, na kama ulikatia huyo kijana akakukataa useme, na kama ni mchezo yako kununua vijana gavana wapige wengine maji ugongwe na gari kufe. Sisi hatuwezi ruhusu Sodoma na Gomora katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Mimi ninaongea kama mtetezi wa wanyonge hii Kenya. Naongea kama kiongozi ambaye najua kesho naweza fanyiwa hivyo. Na very soon watu wa Mombasa nakuja huko. Alafu gavana anishika yangu yezi ingia. Thank you very much.
Akamtukana mtu. Ndugu zangu wapendwa, kumetokea tukio hivi karibuni katika kaunti yetu ya Mombasa. Huyu ndugu yetu Chris, au samahani, jina lake nafikiri ni Bruce, amesimama akamtukana mtu na familia yake. Sasa kwanza kabisa ningependa kutoa pole kwa yule aliyetukanwa. Yule aliyetukanwa imemu-affect psychologically, imemu-affect socially. Yale matusi aliyotukanwa ni matusi mabaya sana. Kwa hivyo sitaki kuzungumza mengi isipokuwa ni kusema kwanza tuanze na huyu kwanza aliyetukanwa. Tumpeni pole kwanza aliyetukanwa. Na huyo aliyetukana, sheria zipo, ilikuwa achukuliwe sheria. Lakini pia vile vile, ndugu zanguni, on the other side of the coin, hatuwezi tukachukua sheria katika mikono yetu tukasema ya kwamba mtu anapotukana mtu achukuliwe ende akafanyiwe kitendo cha kurepiwa na kupigwa na kutiwa katika gunia kwa sababu yeye ni mgeni, amekuja ndani ya Mombasa, ametukana watu, amefanya hivi watu, yeye ni Mluya, yeye ni Wakuja, yeye sijui ni Mkamba, yeye sijui ni Mjaluo, kwa yeye sijui ni mtu gani. Kwa hivyo anapotukana watu lazima apigwe, lazima. Hapana ndugu zangu. No. Hivi mimi nataka nikuulizeni nyinyi swali moja mnaozungumza maneno kama hayo. Hivi nyinyi kipindi cha kampeni mnapozunguka mkatukanana katika magari, wengine mkasimama kwenye majukwaa mkanyoshana vidole mkaitana watu maneno machafu, siku ya pili nyinyi nani wana mkachukuliwa mkatoa kwenye magunia mkarepiwa? Mbona tena tumejitoa mishipa ya fahamu? Kwa hivyo imekuwa mtu ndani ya Mombasa akimtaja mtu fulani achukuliwe, akarepiwe, akafanyiwe hivi, akatiwe kwenye gunia, apigwe? No. Aliyetukana hakufanya sawa, lakini pia sheria aliyochukuliwa yeye ya kwenda kurepiwa si sheria ya haki. Na nashangaa wengine ni viongozi wa dini. wengine viongozi wa siasa, mnasimama mnazungumza, mnasema stahili yake yamfike, kwa sababu kamtukana mtu, yeye wakuja katukana watu. Sasa kama wakuja ndo akitukana mtu ndio karibiwe hivi? Ngoja nikuulizeni swali moja ndugu zangu, maana unajua shida yetu sisi Mombasa ni mtu kuzungumza ukweli. Mimi nakuulizeni swali moja, na kama itakuwa nimekukoseani basi mtanisamehe. Nina swali nataka kukuuliza. Nauliza hivi, sisi watu wa Mombasa tumetukanwa mara ngapi na watu tunaowaita viongozi? Wametutukana si kwa maneno, wametutukana kwa vitendo. Wametutukana kwa kuiba pesa zetu, jasho letu, jasho la watoto wetu, pesa ambazo kwamba watoto wetu walikuwa wakiamka masaa 8 za usiku na masaa 10 ya alfajiri, wakaenda wakimbambarara na matukutuku. Pesa zile watu wakachukua, wakaenda wakatia katika mifuko yao. Yale si matusi nini? Sisi tumetukanwa mara ngapi watu wa kaunti ya Mombasa? Mabilioni na mabilioni yanayoingia katika kaunti, pesa zinaramba fyu. Ndani ya majumba yetu maji hatuna, ndani ya majumba yetu watoto wetu wametukalia, wako hoi, hawana pa kwenda. Ndani ya majumba yetu hatuna mataa, ndani ya majumba yetu hatuna maji. Wale waliotuibia sisi tunakwenda tukiwatia katika magunia, tukwenda tukiwarepu. Namna gani jamani sisi akili zetu? Inakuwa mwizi wa kuku tumkamate, tumpige, tumrepu, tumtie kwenye gunia, mwizi wa kuku. Lakini mwizi aliotuibia mabilioni ya mapesa tukae tumshangilie na tumpigie na makofi? Si upumbavu nini huu? Kwani wewe Abdul Swamad unapofanya la sawa si tunakwambia? Lakini hili ndugu yangu umekosea. Sikiza ndugu yangu nikwambie. Tena nisikize with your third ear. Kiburi si chema. Wewe umetukaniwa familia yako. Haya yote yasingalitokea. Ilikuwa wewe uchukue hatua za kisheria from the very beginning. Uonyeshe mfano mwema. Mtu yule achukuliwe, apelekwe mahakamani na uthibitisho upo, akamatwe na sheria ifate mkondo wake. Leo hii mtu yule nyinyi mmenyamaza kimya. Wewe Abdul Swamad, kwani katukanwa nani hapa? Si umetukanwa wewe? Sasa angalia kile kimya chako ambacho kwamba ni cha ujinga.
Yeah. KK, is it the speech that was on is it Sophia in that there's a I think it's a YouTube channel called Sophia something, and I had him speak about Ruto Lisikia kidogo. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. Is there another speech that he gave somewhere? Anyway, as KK is informing us about that Wanjigi speech, I can find it once he tells us. I just want to emphasize on this because it kind of touches my soul a little bit. Not a little bit, but really a nerve. Because there's a lot of brave young men and women who lost their lives trying to expose this government. Or the county governments. You will remember the story of Sniper, who was killed suspected to have been killed by is it Embo Meru or whatever the case is? I forgot. The lady that was being impeached, who they were trying to impeach, I don't know how many times. So there's some county governors who cannot take criticism. They feel threatened, and when they feel disrespected, this is what they do. And this Meru governor, thank you, KK. Yeah. And this was sad when I heard from Nuru. I played it a few days ago when the story broke out and there was actually demonstrations in Mombasa. Yes, Meru governor. Thank you, Brother Benson. And you know, I'm not different in so many ways. Not so many ways. We are in the same line of work, kind of. I mean, the difference is I'm Nikombali now, and they are on the ground. But you know, these people are more brave, and I would say they are more brave than I am, because wako kwa ground and they are saying it and they are doing it and they are exposing this governor, the corruption and everything that goes on. Now, the story about this Mombasa incident is a bit murky, but whatever the case is, whether like Dr. Mkeni just said, hata kama alimtukana, you know, if the governor felt that he was being, you know, verbally abused and he felt some type of way, he could have gone to the courts and handled that matter through the judicial system, whether sue the blogger or whatever the case is, if he's lying or whatever the case is, and, you know, handle that way. But to brutalize him in the manner in which he did, that is totally unacceptable. And if it's true that Governor Abdul Samwad, whatever his name is, that Sharif Nasir's son, is behind this, then we need to deal with him. He needs to be dealt with properly. The law needs to take its course in its fullest extent. We cannot have people getting brutalized just because they speak out against the corruption and the funny deeds that's happening in the counties and in the government in general. So that's why I'm saying I'm always advocating for the freedoms of these young folks who take their time, risk their lives to expose these corrupt leaders. That's why I wanted to emphasize on that. That's totally, we cannot stand. And I will lead a campaign every day to expose this governor in Mombasa. I'll always have a segment. Right. KK is saying we need a mob justice for the judicial system. Yeah, I mean, we just saw the Masengeli saga today. That was beyond ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous. I mean, what was that? Atijaja anajirecuse himself for personal reasons. I mean, you could see that there were orders given coming from above, probably from President Ruto, that was trying to avoid having Mr. Masengeli, whatever his name is, to avoid the 6-month term, because he was already convicted. It was not a matter of the trial is going on. Then to make the matters worse, you have an attorney general who's representing a convicted criminal as if he's his personal client, which kind of is that's not his line of work. The attorney general should be advising the administration, and to be exact, the executive, okay? Because the executive kind of is the head of the state, all right? Not trying to defend a head of an independent institution who has defied court orders and has already been convicted. You see what I'm saying? So this whole thing was just unbelievable. I mean, I don't know what to say. For those of you who would like to chit chat, I don't know, maybe they are just for the sake of it. I'll be here for like about 30 more minutes. It can go longer depending on how it goes, but 30 minutes max. So if you want to come in and speak about anything you want to speak on, there's the link. But Here's the judge who spoke about, kind of reneged on his already made conviction that he already made towards the, uttered towards Mr. Masengeli. This Masengeli case is something that, in fact, somebody argued that if that's the case, then every convicted criminal in Kenya should just have a lawyer and go to waende hapo mbele ya jaji waseme pole, hawatafanya tena, then they should be let go, because that's basically what Masengeli did. And
liberation, without speaking on the need, I must arrive to the determination that Mr. Masengeli, through this purging process, has purged his guilt for the contempt of court, and thus both the conviction and sentence passed are set aside. I must, however, not end this deliberation without speaking on the need for all to respect and uphold the independence of the judiciary. It is a judiciary that guarantees adherence to the rule of law. Every Kenyan who means well for this country must fight for the independence of the judiciary so that judges can be allowed to make decisions based purely on law and the facts without the fear of reprisals, interference, pressure, or threats, whether direct or indirect. That is a cornerstone of democracy. It should be known to all that the independence of the judiciary is not for the judges per se, but for the benefit of the public at large. It leaves judges with the discretion to make fair and even-handed decisions meant to uphold the rule of law. Judges must never and will never hold. Judges will always hold government organs to account for adherence to the Constitution and the law, and it is the primary duty of the state to ensure judicial independence is protected. I am happy to note from the LSK that the 3 Kenyans, the subject of this petition, have been found. Having said so, and considering everything else, I am making my decision to recuse myself from the further proceedings of this case for personal reasons. I will thus be directing that this file be placed before the presiding judge for allocation to another.
Rebel salute to Atticus, long time no see. The irony of this statement by this judge, who can hardly read, no offense, he was stuttering and mumbling. He's saying that, let me take this off. He's saying that judges should be able to, make their pronouncements and judgments without the fear of intimidation or, all that stuff in order for democracy to thrive. What you say? But then he goes along and said he's recusing himself for personal reasons. Obviously, he feels probably was intimidated. Gypsy Corner is telling me, hey, Kenya Rebel, this time don't just disappear. Close the show properly, please. What the hell is he reading? I'm just telling you guys. Something else that I want to actually play. It's something that I found it interesting. Today I'm all over. We are talking about everything. It's Friday nights, politics, Kenyan politics. Ukitaka kujiingiza uingie. Ukitaka kuingia sawa pia. You can listen along, and I will continue with my rambling and ranting. Here's just a small 5 minutes beginning of this little, so you can get an idea of Kenya.
The amount of money laundered every year is estimated at 2 to 5% of global GDP. 2% of global GDP is roughly equal to the combined GDP of Turkey, the Philippines, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan. Over $500 billion flows out of developing countries each year. Much of this money flows into Western economies via complex offshore structures. In 1952, the future Kenyan president Jomo Kenyatta is imprisoned by the British colonial authorities. He becomes a symbol of Kenya's struggle for independence.
Jomo Kenyatta is viewed as Kenya's father of independence, so to speak. He used to go by the name Johnston Kamau. He used to be a water meter reader in the colonial government's municipal council. He was also fairly well spoken. I believe that's part of the reason why he was selected from amongst the political intelligentsia at the time.
Upon his release from detention, the near penniless Kenyatta becomes a close friend of the last British governor of Kenya, Malcolm MacDonald. In 1963, Kenyatta is elected as the first Prime Minister and later President of independent Kenya, while Malcolm MacDonald becomes the British High Commissioner. The government and civil service of the new country is comprised primarily of what the British called loyalists. Post-independence, Britain retains a number of military sites in Kenya. Today, Britain trains 6 infantry battalions in Kenya every year. 60 years after independence, the Kenyatta family is one of the wealthiest in Kenya.
The Kenyatta family have vast investments in land across the country, right down to the coast, all the way up to the what was called the White Highlands. They own the biggest milk company in Kenya. They own one of Kenya's biggest banks. They have a chain of hotels. They're building a sub-city right now, just right outside the bounds of Nairobi city. There's always been an open question about how Jomo Kenyatta was able to become such a rich person. Just 1 or 2 years after becoming president, his salary at the time doesn't match the kind of wealth that he has. There have been memoirs written by, people from his administration that say that he essentially would, engage in land grabs of very, very prime pieces of land owned by members of the settler community, etc.
A declassified CIA report noted that funds provided by foreign governments in order to pay for the redistribution of land from colonial settlers to landless Kenyans had allegedly been used by the Kenyattas and their associates to buy land for themselves. Today, the Kenyatta family are the biggest landowners in Kenya, holding over 500,000 acres of prime land across the country, while many former Kenyan freedom fighters and their families who fought specifically for the return of their land received nothing. Jomo Kenyatta passed away in 1978. His son, Uhuru Kenyatta, followed his father into politics.
The country's president, Uhuru Kenyatta, was among the world's rich who were named this week in the Pandora Papers.
According to the Pandora Papers, Kenya's president Uhuru Kenyatta and 6 members of his family have been linked to 13 offshore companies.
And what was revealed is that the family had invested in offshore structures. If you're including the extended family, as early as the mid-70s. Uhuru Kenyatta was listed as a beneficiary of a trust that, so to speak, belonged to his mother upon her death.
Uhuru Kenyatta claimed to be an advocate of transparency, and cracking down on corruption was a central theme of his term in office.
This dragon, this beast called corruption, is an animal that we intend to slay.
President Uhuru Kenyatta welcomed the leakage of the Pandora Papers, saying the publication of the papers will go a very long way in enhancing the financial transparency and openness required in the country and around the globe.
In Kenya, 2/3 of the population live in poverty on less than $3.20 per day. 70% of Kenyan families are chronically vulnerable due to poor nutrition, food insecurity, and preventable diseases. Kenyan law requires the president to provide a list of financial interests to the Ministry of Finance each year.
What we own, what we have, is open to the public, and we declare every year. And I've always said, if there is an instance where somebody can say that what we have done or obtained has not been legitimate, say so. We are ready to face any court.
He said that he's made his wealth declarations, but we've never seen them. Secondly, families of politically exposed persons don't have to declare their wealth.
Okay. Not to just focus on the Kenyatas, but they are the genesis of what's going on in Kenya. Just to respond to KK. KK anasema these two were supposed to have a date tonight. Maybe keep one of our suits kama ya Kasmwe. They were supposed to be here. I don't know what's happening, but I wanted to make it a debate between the two, but I called Captain earlier today, but he did not pick up, so I assume he was not going to come to the debate, so I canceled that ninio. So Captain kama uko huko, if anyone who knows him in the chat, please mwamsheni mwambie and tell Tuni. Oh, Tuni ako hapa. Sasa hii mambo hii sasa it's good, it's about to get tricky. Tulisema ni debate, si kama sijui ilikuwa nini, but mimi nilisema ni debate. Wacha niweke link hapa. Tuni leo naingia, hatutaki mchezo. Ingia Captain. Anyway, the point I want to drive home today is that, in fact, what I've noticed, this stems from the fights that we've been seeing from the so-called. I want to drive. This is the third day I'm talking about this, but I'll talk about it anyway because I think we need to, as people who are interested in seeing a regime change in Kenya, we need to examine and look at what works in Kenya, or what worked for us in June 25th. Remember that. Because mimi nilisema hivi, the reason why ile ka movement ili work June 25th ni kwamba, number one, Ruto didn't know what was hitting him. He didn't know, he never respected the Gen Zs. Number two, Gen Z movement itself ilikuwa haina leaders. It was not a party based. It had no leader. They didn't even know who was financing it. Lakini sasa vile wakajitolea nani Jimmy Wanjigi. In fact, I'll find that Jimmy Wanjigi ninio. Vile Jimmy Wanjigi akajitolea akaanza kusema, admitting that he was financing the Gen Zs. You saw what Ruto did. Now saizi unaona hawa vijana ambao they were like kind of, they emerged as the faces of this movement. I'm not saying leaders, but I'm saying faces who are also can be perceived as leaders of the movement. Look at how they're fighting amongst each other. They have influence, but they're not leaders. And they're already fighting over who is going to be what. Mara Morara is juu nini anaitisha pesa. Mara Morara. Kasmwe Line ndio huyo tunamwona aki hang out na wakina Sonko, Osoro na Millie Odhiambo. Tarus nayo tunamwona hapo anafanya mambo yake. You see how it's very, very ninio. Kila mtu anafanya mambo yake. Why? Because they made the grave mistake that they were avoiding in the first place, which was what? Trying to be the leader of the movement. Hapo ndio walininio. What? What was going on? Okay. Yeah. Just for the record, it doesn't help if you start, kianza kuattack a community. No. Yes, Ruto is a Kalenjin or whatever the case is, but we can't just have a blanketed approach by saying wakale hawa ndio wanatuangusha. I mean, yeah, they are in the majority of members of their community wako kwa serikali, but that does not mean that every Kalenjin is responsible for the mess that's happening in Kenya. So the same thing I would argue, you know, just because Raila Odinga is a conman doesn't mean every Luo is a conman. Just because Uhuru Kenyatta messed up and his family messed up does not mean that every member of the Kikuyu people are as messed up as them or they are doing what they're doing. So it's silly if you start attacking somebody. Yes, Captain might have his reasons for supporting the government, whatever. Like in haki yake, wants to support the government, sawa. We'll question you based on what the government has achieved or not achieved. But you know, kwenda kuattack mtu based on their ninio, you're not helping the situation. Hiyo ni tu kuleta shida kwa ninio. Yeah, what else is happening? Let me check the ninio. Let me check the tweets and see what's going on up. By the way, yesterday, by the time usiku, we had Nani. What was the name? That's the three that were ninio. I'm joined by Melchizedek. Melchizedek naona meka. Hey, Melchizedek, naona umeamka mapema. I mean, ni usiku huko probably. Karibu Melchizedek.
Niko kazi.
Uko kazi? Tuanga kazi vizuri. Tengeneza pesa.
Mimi sio mtu wa nini. Ruto analala.
Ruto zinasema yeye ni Njagi, yes, KK Njagi. Njagi is alive apparently. I haven't seen the body. I mean, I haven't seen him because the two I've seen, but Njagi sikumuona. But it said the family, I think, wali release statement, I believe, wakasema ati Njagi yako high. So that's good news. We were fearing ati amekufa. Bom Njagi, yes. Endelea Melchizedek, pale unataka kuanza tujulishe maoni yako namna gani kwa hizi vitu mambo yanaendelea. You can comment on Njagi or hii kesi ya Masengeli na sijui mambo mengine, anything where you want to. Na mambo ya Gachagua pia is making a lot of noise and I don't know what's with this. Hebu ni mtu anieleze what's with this Gachagua and Ruto. Hii mambo ilianzaje? What's the whole deal? Ni kani makelele tu.
Just a minute kidogo nitoka kwa mashini then.
Okay, sawa.
Hakuna kelele.
Okay, take your time. Yeah, but somebody please help me. What is all this noise about Gachagua? Nini? Mimi nilikuwa naona snippets. I started listening to it, alafu it was kind of I couldn't stand it. But from the few snippets nilikuwa naangalia, he was apologizing to the Kenyatta family for, you know, saying bad things or whatever the case is. Mara is saying Raila is a good man. Mara is sijui nini. Thank you. I agree, KK. Yani, in fact, let me find this video. Mara they are attacking Sakaja. What was all this? What was going on? What's his name? Gachagua. Gachagua. I just don't understand your beef yao. You need beef against let's see. Wacha nicheze kidogo hapo Isa Kajeni. Munipatie dakika kidogo nicheze Gecha. All right. Crap. I hate when this happens. Okay. So apparently he was somewhere in, where is this? I don't know where this is, but Gachagua was somewhere kwa Marikiti huko, alikuwa natoa ninio, and he had people who were happy to see him. He had a raucous crowd that were glad to see him. So let's just see what was happening there. I didn't quite pay attention to him, but let's see.
Mimi nimepata ujumbe vile mnahangaika, vile mnateseka, vile mnashurutishwa, vile maisha yenu yanaenda kwa shida, na mimi siwezi kubali kupata. Tulikuja hapa na Rais William Ruto, mkatupatia kura, na rais na mimi tukaahidi nyinyi ya kwamba tukipata serikali hakuna siku mtahangaika. Na kwa hivyo mimi nasikitika sana nikisikia serikali ya kaunti imenyanyasa nyinyi. Kwa hiyo hatuwezi kubali. Nikamwambia mpatie gavana nafasi. Gavana wetu Sakaja tukakubaliana ya kwamba akiwa gavana wa Nairobi, Rais William Ruto akiweko, kwa mdogo wake, wafanyabiashara wetu watapata nafasi ya kufanya kazi. Na mimi nataka kuomba kwa heshima.
I like napenda hiki kitu. I like what Chief Negus amesema hapa, and their agreement with nani KK wanasema every time we the people unite behind an issue, they throw to way to destruction out. Sa ile kama vile watu walikuwa wanasema mambo ya dani ama whatever the case is, sasa ndio wanaongeza temperature ya hii mambo ya Gachagua na Ruto. Watu wa mlima na watu wasijui Ruto na mambo yake. Yani endelea Melchizedek, najua ulikuwa unataka kusema kitu.
Nilikuwa natembea kwa nini? Kwa moto. Sasa nimetoka.
Kuna tembea kwa moto tena. Hiyo ni kazi gani unafanya unatembea kwa moto?
Usijali. Bora tuko
kwani wewe ni Judge Walk?
Saifa.
Haya, sasa unaona mambo ya Gachagua namna gani? Amesema ameambia Ruru pole, watu wa mlima sijui nini.
Unajua mimi nafuatilia mambo vile inaendelea Kenya saa zingine. Huwa na blame wenye wale amua kuchukua kusupport hii government kwa sababu hii mambo haieleweki. Juu unaona anytime kitu ikitokea ambayo inaonekana ni kama scandal ama ni kitu yenye inaumiza wa Kenya, lazima wakuje na some confusion, so watu wa concentrate na vitu ambazo haina maana. They are very nonsensical thing. Unaona? So
how do we counter that?
Unaona, kusema ukweli, let me answer with huyo IG whatever the unaona, kama tulikuwa na the real law ambayo ina govern ama inaonyesha ya kwamba we have a strong law in Kenya, that could have been jailed. Yes. You cannot be summoned 3 times and the 4th one you are coming unasema ya kwamba umekuja ku apologize ama umejitokelezea sasa after wale ambao walikuwa abducted washatolewa. Unaona? It's very painful when we are seeing such kind of things is happening in Kenya, and there is nothing we can do because imeonekana vizuri kwamba these things were planned. Easy abduction na killing whatever, hii kitu ilitengenezwa. Kwa nini hao watu walitoka before hao watu watoke, huyo alikataa kuenda?
Kwa sababu unajua watu walianza kusema ati the next day wataenda maandamano, Babu Owino akaandika hapo akasema Ruto ameua Njagi. Sasa momentum ilikuwa inapanda. Watu wakaanza kusema maandamano kesho tukaninio. Sasa serikali ikaogopa ikasema wacha tutoe hao watu.
Then unaona ya kwamba the judiciary itself pia wanatuchezea.
Namna gani?
Unajua wanatuchezea. Wakishasema ya kwamba huyu mtu anashikwa, hawafai kuregea. Hata wakiwa na evidence gani yenye imetosha, washaamua ya kwamba these are the things that they are supposed to do. Ndio Wakenya wajue ya kwamba we also have the lawyers and everything that can protect Kenyans. But it seems we have seen that we don't have law in Kenya. Totally. We don't have. Wewe jaribu uitwe kwa court siku moja, ukatae kuenda. Uone vile utakujiwa hapo na lori ya kata hata 21. Jaribu hata leo. Sinakwambia jaribu hata mtu yote mwenye wanyonge yote mwenye amefanya makosa, fanya tu hivi. Alafu uitwe kwa kosi siku moja ukatae kuenda.
Ni ukweli.
Vile utakujiwa ni kama you are a big thug, a big criminal and very very unwanted person.
Yeah.
Na huyu jamaa kwa government sasa kila kitu mpaka anasema ya kwamba no one can order him, which means it's above the law.
Yeah.
Then wa judge wako hapo wamevaa kofia ya white wanasema ya kwamba they are judge. Nonsense.
Mwanzoni walikata maneno vizuri, walisema huyo jamaa mpaka aende jela. Lakini sasa Attorney General akaingia. Mimi kuona Attorney General hapo ndio nikashikwa na buta.
We don't have Attorney General, we don't have lawyers. We are living in hell in Kenya. Yes. Vitu zenye zinafanyika inaonekana ya kwamba we don't have anything. We don't have anybody that can protect. Wakina Babu Owino wanapiga tu mdomo.
Babu Owino.
He's a doctor. He's a doctor by name, but he's not a doctor by action.
Akona degrees juu ngapi?
Hata kama kuwe nayo inakaa kama mimi mwenye ana degree hata moja.
Wacha nionyeshe basi, nikuonyeshe mambo vile iliendelea huko kidogo.
KK ameenda wapi?
Ako tu. Anakula raha. Unajua leo ni Friday sana, anaonja kitu huko nyuma ya nini tent.
Why don't you go out and listen to the press? We won't go out. It is so wrong to want you. Everybody deserves dignity. But why do they behave like that?
Hata Osoro ambaye alipiga mtu bunduki na hajashikwa, hata pia yeye ako hapo tu. Karibu Keke.
Mpaka Osoro mwenye amepiga mtu amekufa. Yeye ndiye mpaka anaenda mbele amesimama, yeye ndiye anatuliza watu. What the hell is going on?
Wapi Nyagaka kuja tuelezee mambo ya Osoro hapo? Unajua Nyagaka ndiye ako na our chief correspondent kutoka Kisii County. Ya kuja tuambie. Nyagaka kama huko nani pia aingia hapa. Nani ule nani anaitwa ile alikuwa anafanya captain. Sorry Keke endelea. Tuni.
Nyagaga koko ile nini yako the other place.
Oh, leo wamehamia huko.
Anyway, niko na homa, that's why sitaki kuingia sana.
Ni sawa. Hata tutakaa sana lakini toa maoni yako alafu tuone vile kesho ni Saturday anyway, tutakuwa hapa marathon yenyewe.
Yeah. Unajua hii story yote sijui mlima, it's a whole distraction. Unajua inaitwa white pony, inaitwa something pony. Ni kama majeshi anafanya kitu lakini na kutrick, kuna macho yako inaangalia somewhere else, usiangalie Kenya anafanya. This is what is happening.
In fact, KK, I'm glad you're bringing that up kwa sababu you have some knowledge about siasa mlima, if I'm assuming.
Yes.
Kwa ground, is it what is being portrayed to be? Kuna tension between Gachagua na Kindiki ama hii tu ni maninia tu hizi serikali za Gachagua?
Nyumbani watu wanafuata venye Murara anafanya. Even whatever is happening, this is what they're talking about. I can tell you my parents wako huko. I have people who they appear. When we talk na wao kila wakati, sijui nasikia sijui imeuzwa, nini imeuzwa. Angali hii story sijui ya Gachagua sijui Uhuru. Actually they even hit the haja is how most of what will vote yes on the finance bill. Wengi ni water mountain, and all of them they will be gone. Nakwambia most of them they will be gone. So hii ingine ni side show. Unajua eventually mtu ukiwa huko unasikia watu sijui Gachagua alikuwa anasema nini, unasikiza, but unajua what the issue is, and we're telling them they know this too. So I can give you a good example. My uncle ni one of those people alikuwa na vote kabisa. Watoto wake 4 wako nyumbani hawana kazi, all graduates.
Oh, wow.
So utaniambia taanza kufocus sijui Gachagua nini na watoto wake wanatafuta kazi na wapati. Haizo kalipia kufanya masters na PhDs.
My worry is this. In fact, people, I mean, it's very clear that Ruto, there's no way anaenda kushinda 2027. Na hata ama vile umesema hawa kina Ichungwa, yule MP wa Molo na wengine, they're not going to come back. Lakini, I've keep on saying this. Watu, they have a hold on the IEBC. In fact, there was a, I don't know if you saw that, there was kulikuwa na shida na watu wa IBC, whoever they were choosing as the selection panel or whatever the case is.
Already, just here.
Yeah, I wish I saved that clip. But the point I'm saying is this. IBC wanaenda kurigi kitu. I mean, it's so clear because they are not popular by no means.
Yes.
But vile wanazungumza, they are so confident as if they have a secret. Wamejua kitu ambayo hatujui. And the only thing I can think of is the rigging. Yeah.
Hakuna kitu hata sisi hatujui. Tunajua Kenya unasema sasa tunajua. Tunajua the justice system inaraniwa na Ruto.
Yeah.
So there's no way they are going to lose. If you control all the levels of a test, for example, when you unafanya a test, you give yourself a test and you know what you're going to test yourself. You know you're going to pass. So the only way is us getting the whole thing out. Sisi wenyewe, and nobody will save us. Tunakuja tunasema sijui nini. Kama nini? Kai historia Bob Jagi jana. The threat ya kusema Bob Jagi sijui ameudhiwa cause Ruto alikuwa naona watu tutokea kwa street, that's waliachiliwa jana usiku, right?
Yes.
Think about it.
Yes.
So he knows one of the things he fears most, and all of them do, is the watu. Tukisema now this is it. You have gone too far. That's the only way wanatoka hapo. Ama kufikiria the other option ya I don't know, but that's vitu kama hizo hatuelewi unless kuna watu wanaongea penye tunaongea nini in the highest levels.
Yeah. And I agree with you. The problem is that watu ambao wanasema tuende election, it's as if tuna postpone maandamano. Okay, it's like you're giving him 3 more years, apeleke 2027, alafu watarig, alafu sasa maandamano itaendelea, then they'll have to wataua watu tena. So it's either we postpone the maandamano or we go about it now. So Miki too, like you said, conversation that Chief Negus also said the same thing. Hawa watu wako na distraction. Mi kusema ukweli, saizi as it stands, wakina Kasmuel, Morara, Tarus, Gachagua, these are distractions. Hawa watu, they are just
yes. Yeah. That's unaona, when they focus on maandamano wanakuja wanakata. Unakumbuka Kasmuel alikuwa kwanza kushikwa. Unakumbuka the other day alisema alipatana na mtoto akamwambia sijui kuna maandamano, akaona huyu mtoto ataudhiwa, akasema hii maandamano tuachane nayo. Hapo ndio from that day, time the whole movement lipato wote.
Not only that, kumbuka kulikuwa na maandamano that was supposed to happen on Thursday. The day before on Wednesday ndio hii ujinga ya kina Taras unaanza na Morara hapa, sijui ati Morara is stealing my street.
Again that same thing. Ni kitu inapangwa, ni Ruto hiyo, that's what anafanya cause anajua this is the only way mtampata. So he is invested in that. Hata kuna watu talipo mpaka millions.
Wakina nani wamenyamaza.
We have to focus, tuache hata kama vile tunafuata sasa Kibaso. Hatufuati Kibaso, tunafuata accountability. Na hata yakienda tutamtupa. Tuna focus. We look ahead. And I hate when people get distracted na kuongea story ya Masi wamekosana nini. That's not the issue. Mkikosana, figure it out. Sisi tunaelekea kwenye tunaelekea.
KK.
Yes.
Hii movement ya Gen Z ikila sana haita last 6 months. Kwa sababu gani? Wale ambao washakuja kama wamejitokelezea wanasema ya kwamba wao ndio organizers, wakina Sibazo na whatever, au watu ni kama washalipwa. Sasa
hata mimi
unakumbuka Kibaso alikuwa kwa kampeni ya Ruto.
Yes.
Alikuwa kwa kampeni ya Ruto?
Yes.
Alikuwa Ruto. I didn't know.
Alikuwa na wao ndio walikuwa organizer wakubwa sana wenye walikuwa wana convince wa universities ili wa support Ruto. All of a sudden he came up and said that now he's against Ruto, which means Ruto is using him so that he can confuse people.
Or maybe ameona hata huyu jamaa ukamwangalia vizuri, he is a very opportunistic kind of person. Ukasikiza story yake, the moment he get a chance he takes it. So he's a very opportunistic, a very egoistic person.
The reason why I naona Ruto is not going for him because he doesn't pose a threat in this sense. Morara hasemi sorry, unasemaje Mltizi?
Nasema Ruto cannot go after this guy because he was very active in his campaign.
And also nasema hivi, Morara the person ambao Ruto anadeal now anajaribu ku abduct ama mlipe or whatever the case is anyone who says tuendeni maandamano tutoe Ruto must go. Kibaso nikimsikia yeye anasema ati tungojeni 2027. Unaona? But of all these people, no one is saying ati let's remove Ruto, tuendeni maandamano, occupy state house, let's remove Ruto must go. Hiyo ndio naogopa.
Unakumbuka last time wakati walikuwa kwa nini alisema is not against Ruto, is against about the corruption which is taking place in Kenya.
But that's not a threat to Ruto. Ruto knows he's corrupt. Hata mkimexpose, as long as he's amekaa kwa kiti and is controlling everything, he's comfortable. Ndio maana you don't see them arresting Morara. That's why mimi nataka kuona anyone who is agenda yake ni Ruto must go na Ruto must go now, tujipange. That's the kind of person I'm waiting to see. Anyway,
I think your part now venye tunaona because it's very easy to be compromised kwa Kenya. Kuna threat. Kuna threat to your family, to you yourself too. I think it would take somebody from abroad, mtu anajua kind of hakuna mtu anajua ni nani. but kila mtu anajua ni Mkenya.
Yeah.
Tunapush hizo buttons, tuzipush. When tunasema ni maandamano, we sema we are doing this. Na kila mtu spread.
Yeah. Mimi nasema it worked how we did it. Nobody knew who was the leader of this movement. Nobody knew who was financing it. Nobody who was behind it. Waliona tu watu wanasema vitu kwa internet, and we met in the streets and it was successful. Lakini ukianza ndio maana nasema and Atticus alisema hivi jana, as long as tuko na leader, tutakuwa tunaangalia watu as a leader, we are looking for a leader, they'll be compromised and they'll be jailed, killed, or whatever the case is. Lakini kama hakuna leader, there's no face. Ruto hawezi kukuendea kwa sababu he has no evidence that you're a leader. Yeah, hajui ni nani. Sana tu tunapiga tu makelele. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been communicating with one of the CEO of there is one company, there's a company actually, it's not ilikuwa chama, but now is a company, and is based in Qatar. And he has been the CEO for the past almost 10 years, and the company is doing well. And I'm trying to reach him so that I can bring him here, so we can trying to make things work, because I think he's also somebody that can assist to give us a lot of idea on how we can go about this, because once we decided to do something, we are out for it. We can even make our own chama, so that by the time, when we want to remove somebody, we need to look the replacement for someone. Sindio?
Yeah, but we don't have to. You focus on at this time. You do it once the whole thing is done. Then unajiangalia, let's do this. The policies are the same. And you have to follow all of them. So hata kama ni wewe nani, we're doing the same thing at tuangaliana. So there's that kind of accountability. And for example, you can address the policy. You can say this is what we want, and we need to do this and this and this. Because when we do this, it works this way. And we have seen it in this place. So we follow policies like that. Factual-based things. Now, law is lazima ifuatwe. Vitu kaa hizo eventually, whenever you are judged, you are vetted, your cases are reviewed. All of that, we have to do all that.
How can we do it? Because when we rely on these people in Kenya, we will still go to mess the way we are seeing. Why can't we do it internationally? Like we do it, how you call it, diaspora people. We make this a group. Then we say that we want to make someone that can lead, that can make our country to be country. When we are going there when we know that this is what we want to do. Because even by the time these things are happening,
who is running the election? That's the Yoshida. Who is running the election? Let's start from there. This point is good. But we can't have none of that wakati these people are in power. That's what I'm trying to say.
Even if they are the people running the election, there is something that comes like, we say that you can run election, but when the people decide, people have decided. They are the people that's electing, not the IBC. Because once we have voted, the IBC, they are there to cast the vote and to count the vote and give the result.
So
am I right?
Wait, yes, but are you saying we should rely on the IBC amount? I'm trying to.
Even we don't need to rely on IBC right now. We need to understand the solution. What is the solution? Because what we were expecting is not going.
Yeah, this is how I look at it.
Yeah.
you are not going to remove Ruto through the IBC and voting and all that stuff. Hiyo hautamtoa hata tufanye nini. The only way you can remove Ruto is through a popular revolution, because it is in the constitution. The people are sovereign. So watu wakisema tumechoka na Ruto tunamtoa through popular revolution, ndio maana unaona watu walikuwa wanaenda nini Occupy State House. It's legal, it's not illegal. So ukisham
but you see that we have maandamano, but it's not working. We want it.
I can't say that it's not working. I think there's a lot of these distractions that need to be cleared off. Our kina Kasmuel, Morara, and all this nonsense. What needs to happen is we need to go to square one, which is remain what? Faceless, partyless, tribeless, na hiyo wengine. So sisi tutakuwa, because remember, our watu walikuwa na magroup zao before the faces were on the ground. People were meeting on groups, whether it's platforms like this, platform engine ya hizo ma X spaces na hizo nini, wana discuss, wanasema nyewe vitu zina, we're encouraging each other, tunasema mazee tutokezeni on Sunday nini because this is the agenda, okay? So yeah.
What I'm trying to bring up is, they say that we are faceless, we are tribeless, and we are everything, right? And you see this. Yeah, you see that other people came out and said that we are now the leader of the.
Yeah, and those right? People are the distraction.
These are the people that now disrupt what we were planning to do.
Yes.
So we need to look another alternative, which I'm saying that if Kenyans cannot do, why can't we do it, diaspora people? We make our own space, we talk them after we get the solution, then we can bring them in when we have decided this is what we are going to. What do you think about that?
You need people in Kenya in the ground, because they'll give you a real pragmatic way of going about things. Because sisi tuko nje tunaweza kusema let's do this, lakini kama uko yeah.
The place I'm talking, even Kenyans are there. Those who are in Kenya, they're in the same group I'm talking about.
Okay.
We have the leader, which is the CEO of the company. So we bring him here, then we give him that idea. We say that we want this Kenya to change.
Okay. So here is the thing, Melchizedek.
Yes.
Remember Ruto pia kuna watu wana monitor. So the reason why hatutaki leader is because if you have a CEO, guess who Ruto will be going for?
Anajua ni nani, anajua familia zako.
Yes, absolutely.
There's nothing
I can carry that load in my head, so he can come to me.
Ati nini?
I can carry that load in my head so that he can come to me.
Yeah, but we want to protect you from going through that.
Bro, there is something called when you have decided to do something, whether you like it or no, you decide once and you don't go back.
But okay, that's a good idea. That's the CEO that you have. I'm just saying, if you want to bring him to the program, I don't know when you want to bring him in the program. Bring him. We can have this kind of discussions where, because I think Eritrea, they changed the government through diaspora. The people met in diaspora and wakaji organize. Then when wakaenda ninio, but the Eritrea one, I think it was armed struggle though. That wasn't ile ilikuwa si ile maandamano, but it's an example of how people in diaspora can meet and change the government and change the regime, that is. So yeah, when nani ukipata huyo CEO nani Melchizedek, please, he's more than welcome anytime. We encourage that.
Nakwambia,
yeah.
Now when you think about vitu zingine, I just thought about this. The other part, umeona nani Ruto amefuata nani Wanjigi sana juu ya pesa, and the other part of it, he has connections abroad. So kama kunaweza fika place watu wanaenda kuchukua nchi yao, blood by fight by anything, anajua. That's why mpaka the first thing aliendea kwake ni nini? Weapons. That should tell you the thinking behind vitu zingine tunaona. We have to try to psychoanalyze this person. Even if we have to beat him, we have to get in his head. Anaona nini yeye? That's why unaona na moja huyu jamaa sana. Any communication, anadhani endi ndio wanapanga na watu.
Yeah. In fact, you're right. You're very right. Communication, let me just say this in general. Hata hizi chats tuko, there are some folks who ni watu wa Ruto. I'm not saying kuna watu na monitor ambao they're doing their groundwork on Ruto, wana investigate nani huyu anasema hivi huyu nini. Okay? I've seen that throughout these lives nimekuwa hapa. So I know they are listening. Your point, the only way vile naona, which is because I think if people are ready. Ubaya wetu, I think the problem that I see si ati ubaya wetu, but tunataka hiyo, we want that leader we want a Raila figure. That's why yesterday nilikuwa nasema Raila must die, not the Raila himself, but the idea of this strong leader. And that's what I was saying. Tunatafuta leader to lead. And that's exactly what will not work, because like I said, as soon as mkuwa na leader, Ruto ataenda kudili na huyo leader, whether ni kumjail, kumdedisha, ama kumbribe, then ina scuttle the whole movement. Juu ukikata kichwa ya nyoka, the whole body nakufa. Lakini kama uko na mawatu wengi hapa, he doesn't know what to do. Ndio maana unacheki, remember when this maandamano ilianza ya Gen Z, mara alikuwa anashika wakina Hanifa, mara anaendea sijui, he didn't know what to do.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, go ahead.
And that movement need to be led by people in the diasporas. Tunaona what's wrong. Huyu jamaa hakuna mtu anaishi any country in the world which is not theirs is happy. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Can you imagine kama kwetu unafanya kaka unafanya na kukwenyo, unaona maadhe, unaona shosho, unaona kila mtu in your own country. Ukitukiana kuhanga out, tunahanga out the next nini tao, tunachio tunaenda nyumbani na kuogopi, and you're making good money, your kids are doing good, your family is doing good. So sisi wote we have that pain. Not if we had a chance to be able to change it, so it changes for kila mtu, all of us, I agree. If you had a choice and you have a chance to do it, you would do it every time. Every fucking.
So that's homework ya kufanya. I don't know if it should vile nani Melchizedek have thrown an idea ni kampuni, ama it's a political party, or it's just people meeting up. See party, but people are just meeting up and having these different meetings. Tunakuwa na chapter ya, chapter ya American chapter, European chapter ya Australia huko, then people discuss and kama ni, what ni kuji organize, but it starts with the community. So Melchizedek, huyo leader wako kama ni, I don't know who, usiniambie jina because maybe you want to protect his name, but if you're serious about it, hey, platform ndio hii, you can bring him and
nimerealize kitu. Okay. Nimerealize kitu, nilikuwa nasoma kitu mwenye muda naandika hapo chini. Nimerealize something that I think you people also, you are seeing it. That anything that is taking place in Kenya, there are those who have not walked, or they have not traveled, or they have not gone so far. So they think that when they are within Kenya, Kenya is the only bus stop. So when they are seeing these things are happening, they say, no, we can do it. Then you are being given a small money, then you forget what you are. But for example, you know, you have touched dollars, you have touched which one. Even if someone comes to you and tells you, my friend, I will give you 20,000. What is 20,000?
Yeah.
You know this? But when you go to someone who is in the village, then you say no, because you are the strongest guy. We will give you maybe 5,000. Then resolve all these things that is taking place. Very fast it will go. But when we somebody like you or KK or someone else, he will be strong there, that he knows that even if these people will tell him that we will give you this amount, he knows the amount that he's getting is more than what the guy will give,
Or
because the money, yeah,
or
personally,
he can't bribe everyone, because I mean
yeah,
he
he
will
can't bribe,
he will bribe people, but he can't bribe everyone. So
yeah, he can't bribe everyone.
yeah.
For
So
example, you go to KK, then saa zingine KK ako na glass tano, wewe unataka kumpea mbili, atachukua hizo mbili, si anakunywa hizo tatu zake na ametulia. Just an example. It's just an example.
yeah,
So we need to think beyond the box, because once we have seated here, we need to change to our country.
Yeah.
Home, west, east, west, north, whatever, home is the best. And if that home, the home that we are saying the best, is not having enough security, doesn't have enough good leader, doesn't have the environment is very pathetic.
Yeah.
So we need to think beyond the box. Sometimes we come here, but there are some people that they are very brilliant. They know how to lead. They know they have a good quality of a good leader, but they are just here listening for us. So we need to bring each and everyone on board, so that we make a solution. Once we have decided to do this, we keep our own things, and we know what are the things that we are supposed to discuss and how we are supposed to go about them. By the time 2027 reach, we know where we are.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Even we can even send some people to go on the ground to tell the people that we have decided to do this one. Those who are running up and down, let them run. They are keeping government on toes. But what about when this government get out? Who will be there? Are we going to select those who are still in the same?
No. Okay, can I interject?
Yes.
Unapanga, right? It's like you're planning for something that had to happen. You're ahead of your time. You have to get past where we are for that to even to be an option or something to think about. Before we get this guy out, that's the only thing we should think about. Hata kama tunasema literally run the whole thing. Tuone as we figure out what we want. Na tuwapatie election these dates, and it has to be run the correct way. And citizens will look. Sisi wenyewe tunaenda ku oversee those processes.
Okay.
So when
let me ask you something. For instance, now Ruto is out, and his brigade. Who will be the leader? Just a second.
We decide after.
I think this discussion we had before vile maandamano ilikuwa nafanyika, and there were different views. One way that one suggestion was, the aim was to remove the executive and the legislative body, which carries, the MPs. Every MPs and waende nyumbani. Ruto na his whole cabinet waende nyumbani. Gachagua, everyone waende nyumbani. Then the head of judiciary, who is Martha Koome, can be the interim head of the state for 90 days while we prepare for an election. Okay? So within those 90 days, Nani Koome, basically the president, not the president, but the head of the state. But, you know, she's like playing the president, interim president, leader of the country. Now, her only responsibility is to oversee this process here, preparation to the next election. So within these 90 days, we'll reconstitute a new IEBC. Wacha hii yao ya wameka amendment hapo. We have a new fresh IEBC ambao the people have vetted and chosen. Then we go to election to choose what? New representatives, my MPs, na ma senators, and the head of the executive, the president. Then once we have that, sasa tuko na president mpya na our the new legislative body. Now we want to do a surgical work on the judiciary. Hizi kesi za hizi kesi hao watu majaji ambao corrupt, we clean it up. See what I'm saying? That's one way of looking at it. There are some people who are suggesting maybe we can have a committee of maybe, to go back to the provinces, 8 leaders from every province representing the section of country ambao watakuwa interim leaders for these 90 days while we prepare for a new election. Watu wengine wana suggest leave it to the military for these 90 days while we are, so that's something that can be worked out. I think there's a post by Miguna who posted countries that have done it before, France and a bunch of other countries that have done it before. So like I KK amesema, focus on removing him first. Then after that, we can always, kwa sababu Ruto has the greatest influence in every every arm of government, whether it's legislative or judiciary. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Let me say something.
Yeah.
When we are talking the corruption,
yeah,
it's even the Martha Koome itself, the way she is acting, it shows that is not competent. If I'm not wrong, because once you are the president of somewhere, for example, is the president of judiciary, right?
Yeah, head of JSC.
Yes, is the head. So it has the power to stop so many things. But unfortunately, he cannot do that because I don't know what is taking place. If he can do such kind of things, the thing that happened now, he could have get an order that we don't want this thing to move on. We want this guy to be jailed directly.
So, Gordon, let me support your point.
Yes.
You have a very, very good point. Unaona venye Magufuli alikuwa mtu, hata kama alikuwa ni radical in a way, alitengeneza ni nchi yake, right?
Yes, yes.
Unaona alikufa by accident, mwenye amekuja ndio mbaya na ni mama. Unaona mpaka nini demonstration, freedom of speech imeisha huko. Yes, she's a dictator. So you have a very good point.
When I was saying Nini, tuseme to a Ruto, okay, to a Ruto and the legislative body. If Martha Koome, yes, her name is Martha Koome, when she becomes the head of the state, her sole responsibility haezi kufanya kitu yoyote but to oversee the process, ya interim government, to make sure that the process of ya choose the new IBC to be reconstituted and the preparation of the next what election itafanyika. But Hannah, she will have no other responsibility. It's an interim position, so haezi kusimama aseme ati okay, I'm the head of the state, I'm passing this law ati to make a law or something like that, or to make a decree ati sasa army kwae, she can't do that. It will be under strict she's just overseeing the haezi decide anything other than making sure that this process, interim process, iende smoothly, IBC kwa reconstituted mpya and all that. And by the way, just remember, tukitoa Ruto and these politicians, she'll be in her best behavior because she'll understand that if the people have removed Nani, the executive and the judiciary, she better be in good behavior, or else she can also be removed. And I'm pretty sure she'll be on her best behavior. So that's why I'm saying, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I'm the one who's seeing this one alone, or
right. She won't have executive powers. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if I'm the only one seeing this one, because I know when we want a solution somewhere, even in the company or at home or anywhere.
The space one.
Let us just take a good example for going for an interview, right?
Yeah.
Just an example. When you are going for an interview, you don't get a job first when you go for an interview, right? You go for an interview is when you get a job. So when this thing started, I thought that these people, they have already understand this is what we want to do, so that we can make things run. Because once we decided to remove the current government, and we don't have a good people or a good solution that we want, we will still be in the mess. Because we find that once you want to do something, for example, before you start your channel, you sit down, you make your rules and whatever is when you open it, right?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of rules.
No.
But yeah, I get your point. Yeah.
You get my point.
Yes.
So the only thing that will help us, whether we remove Ruto right now, and we don't have someone who is very genuine, we don't have someone that will lead even that in 90 days or 10 days of whatever, then we will be in a mess that we are now running to look for those who will be here.
No,
but when we have them,
unasahau hatumpatii government then we go home. We are following kila kitu we are doing.
Yes.
We the people who have given her that power, and she has to know, because that's what we're doing to Ruto.
Yes.
Don't get it twisted. We're not giving her, we're doing that following towards choosing our next leaders.
Yes.
So we're following the policies. Hii koti ilienda aje, hii kesi ilienda aje, hii kesi. Sisi wote, we are looking at all the civil servants. Kila mtu anafanya kazi. We are checking. Are you doing your part of your job? If you are, then we might retain you in the next part of our government.
Yes. That's why I like this comment. It says she won't have any executive powers. She will remain the Chief Justice. Ni kama yeye ni caretaker wa hii state, but she doesn't have any executive powers. She cannot make policy. She cannot do anything. Yeye amekaa tu as the head of Ninio for those 90 days. For the interim sun, ndio tukua in election na hiyo mambo yote. Alafu tukishamaliza tukakuwa na president na our MPs mpya na ma senators, then we'll come to look at her section of government and see nani yako corrupt hapa, kesi gani nini, and if she needs to go, she will go. Tuweke jaji mpya na kadhalika. That's another way of doing it. Yeah. I'm getting news hapa ati Captain amefinywa huko. Just to get off video, just with its and giggles. I don't know what's going on huko. Kwani can't amit?
Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway,
this is a good question.
This is what.
Can
question. I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what I am thinking, because the more we are talking, the more we are bringing a different ideas that it help us to maneuver, to go about this thing.
Right.
The only thing that we need to think about right now to remove Movo, which everyone is wishing to. So the only thing now, we don't need to rush for these Gen Zs, because we have seen that there are some people that interact with them. So we can collect or select those who are still in the mood of removing Ruto, to leave out those who are after the power, because we have seen what is taking place.
No, hiyo kitu hata sisi, some of us, we cannot be trusted, so we can go maybe tupata maybe one of the best prospects in Gen Z. If that's the best qualified person we see, and we can be able to monitor that person from every stage, every communication, then we can trust that person. Because leadership, leadership sio politics, mtu anafanya kazi, policy na hivi. Somebody who can follow step by step things na report every stage, tunataka kufanya hivi because these are the benefits. I consider this group, and you citizens, we can see, is this good or bad? Tunamwambia maybe there's a better option, somebody like that, na tuna monitor, see what we are not gonna tutapatia nini mtu mwingine Kenya next time, and we don't follow up. We'll follow up each and every step. From now on.
Active citizenry.
Yes.
Swali imeulizwa hapo, can't the army take the country for 1 month? Well, that's possible, but the problem is it can turn out to be like Burkina Faso. Though the Burkina Faso, it turned out for the good of the country, it can also go for the bad of the country, kwa sababu unaweza kuweka army hapo, let's say whoever that mkubwa was KDF, then aseme ati okay, after 1 month nitapatia na hii ninio, alafu after hiyo 1 month atasema you know what, the country is still not ninio, wacha niendelee tu kwa 3 years, and 3 years turns into 5 years and 10 years, and before you know it you have a Museveni. So army will be the last option. Tuseme kama if there's a lot of strife, watu wameanza kuchinjana, kwa sababu remember, hata tukiondoa Ruto will not go down quietly. Kama unaona wanafanya hivi, wataanza kuleta ukabila to just try to ninio, watu waanze kuchinjana, so that aseme okay, wacha let me bring order, kwa sababu naona nyinyi mnaanza kuchinjana hapa. So that's something that can possibly happen. That's when you can maybe look at the army to see if they can ninio. Guys, unfortunately I have to go. It's Friday, niko na date yangu na si yule Mahmoud. So tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday. Please, nitaingia jioni. I know everyone will be having their ninio, but nitakuwa nimecharge. So hopefully we'll have Kip here also. Atutolee maoni yake.
Anatengeneza huko, nasikia wanamwenjoy huko. But I hear he has a humiliation fetish, bro.
Akuna nini? Humiliation fetish.
Yeah. Nimwambia by the way, nakumbuka kuna date akakama kwa hiyo kamera nyingine. I'm like, oh, all right.
I think maybe aliendoko kwa sababu ya Tuni alikuja. Unajua nilikuwa nafaa kuanza alia, lakini nikaenda huko nikafungua tena, but watu atatupatia habari kesho. Mwanzo hopefully ataingia hapa kama amewakawaka kidogo. He's a character by himself. He's a content in itself. But thank you guys. KK, thanks for ninio. By the way, KK, I don't know when it's ninio. Make sure tukuone hapo na picha ya Ruto kama umemtupia mayai or something. Anakuja New York. So
bro, but you know they monitor all this shit, but we'll be there.
Sawa fiti. Yeah. Nani pia Melchizedek, thank you so much. Najua uko unafanya kazi, you're in the middle of ninio na ni usiku huko, so thank you for stopping by. Atticus, unajua ushow up kama siasa ni kali. Ukimwona kwa kamera, yao tumemwona. Rebel salute Atticus. Gypsy Corner kama kawaida, everybody else who have been part of this. Guys, tuonane kesho. Thank you so much for this. Subscribe, share, like, comment, all the good stuff. Tuonane kesho, and hopefully we'll find Tuni and keep tomorrow. Peace and blessings. I'll see you later.